The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the Earthship Curiosity. Its sleek, silver hull glinted in the light of distant stars as it cruised through the uncharted regions of the Andromeda Galaxy. Inside the ship, Alex Morgan, a young human explorer, sat at the control panel, his eyes fixed on the holographic display before him. Alex was not your typical space adventurer. At just 25 years old, he had a boyish face framed by unruly brown hair and a constant look of wonder in his bright green eyes. While others saw danger in the unknown, Alex saw opportunity. It was this attitude that had earned him a spot on humanity's most ambitious exploration mission yet. Entering Sector X9, Alex announced to the ship's AI, Aria. "Any signs of life?" Aria's smooth, artificial voice filled the cockpit. "Negative, Alex. No life signs detected in the immediate vicinity." Alex sighed, leaning back in his chair. It had been weeks since they'd encountered anything interesting. The initial excitement of the mission had started to wear off, replaced by the monotony of endless star systems devoid of intelligent life. Little did Alex know, his wish for excitement was about to be granted in the most unexpected and terrifying way possible. As the Curiosity approached a dense asteroid field, the ship's sensors suddenly blared to life. Red warning lights flashed across the control panel, and Aria's voice took on an urgent tone. "Alert! Unidentified object approaching at high speed." Alex's hands flew over the controls, bringing up a visual of their surroundings. His heart nearly stopped as he saw what was heading towards them. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of the Curiosity. Its body was jet black, seeming to absorb the very light around it. Rows of gleaming silver spines ran along its back and its mouth. Alex felt a chill run down his spine as he saw the creature's maw, filled with teeth as long as his arm. "Aria, what am I looking at?" Alex asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Species unknown," Aria replied, "but based on its physical characteristics and speed of approach, it appears to be a predator." As if to confirm Aria's assessment, the creature let out a bone-chilling roar that somehow carried through the vacuum of space, rattling the Curiosity's hull. "Evasive maneuvers," Alex shouted, snapping out of his stupor. His hands danced across the controls, guiding the ship into a series of complex turns and rolls. The Curiosity darted between asteroids, using the dense field as cover. But the predator was relentless, its massive body moving with surprising agility as it pursued its prey. Alex's mind raced. He knew the ship's weapons were no match for a creature of this size. Their only hope was to outsmart it somehow. As they weaved through the asteroid field, Alex noticed something odd about the creature's movements. It seemed to be avoiding certain areas, even if it meant letting the Curiosity gain some distance. "Aria, analyze the asteroid composition in the areas the creature is avoiding," Alex commanded. After a moment, Aria responded, "Those areas contain high concentrations of a rare mineral known as stellarite. It appears to emit a frequency that the creature finds unpleasant." A plan began to form in Alex's mind. It was risky, borderline insane, but it was their only chance. "Aria, plot a course to the densest concentration of stellarite," Alex ordered, "and prepare to divert all power to shields." The AI hesitated for a microsecond, its processors no doubt calculating the odds of survival. "Alex, the probability of success for this plan is—" "I don't want to know," Alex cut in. "Just do it." The Curiosity banked hard, heading straight for a massive asteroid glowing with veins of iridescent blue stellarite. The predator, momentarily confused by its prey's suicidal course, hesitated before giving chase once more. As they approached the asteroid, Alex felt sweat beading on his forehead. Everything hinged on perfect timing. "Now, Aria," Alex yelled as they came within meters of the asteroid's surface. The ship's engines cut out, and for a heart-stopping moment, they were in free fall. Then, with a bone-jarring thud, the Curiosity landed on the asteroid's surface, its shields taking the brunt of the impact. The predator, unable to stop its momentum, roared in pain as it plowed into the stellarite-rich asteroid. The creature thrashed wildly, clearly disoriented by the mineral's effects. Alex watched in awe as the massive beast writhed before him. Despite the danger, he couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder. This was why he had become an explorer, to witness the unimaginable. As the creature's movements slowed, Alex made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. "Aria, open the airlock," he said, reaching for his spacesuit. "Alex, that course of action is extremely inadvisable," Aria protested. "The creature is highly dangerous and—" "Sometimes, Aria," Alex interrupted as he sealed his helmet, "you have to take risks to make discoveries. That's what exploration is all about." Before the AI could argue further, Alex stepped into the airlock. As the outer doors opened, he took a deep breath, steeling himself for what came next. The creature had stopped thrashing, now floating listlessly near the asteroid. As Alex approached, he could see its massive eyes glowing an eerie purple in the Stellarite's light. Those eyes fixed on him, and Alex felt a jolt of primal fear run through him. But instead of attacking, the creature simply watched him. There was intelligence in those eyes, Alex realized. Not just the cunning of a predator, but something more. Slowly, carefully, Alex raised his hand in a gesture of peace. To his amazement, the creature mimicked the motion, raising one of its massive clawed appendages. A wild, impossible thought struck Alex. Could it be that this fearsome predator was as curious about him as he was about it? As if in answer to his unspoken question, the creature moved closer. Alex's heart raced, but he held his ground. He was beyond terror now, filled instead with an overwhelming sense of awe. The creature extended one of its claws towards Alex. Every instinct screamed at him to flee, but Alex stood his ground. Slowly, he reached out his own hand. As their fingertips met, human skin against alien carapace, Alex felt a jolt of something. A connection, an understanding that defied explanation. In that moment, surrounded by the cold emptiness of space and the glow of Stellarite, human and predator shared a profound realization. They were no longer alone in the universe. Back on the Curiosity, Aria's sensors struggled to make sense of what they were recording. By all logic, the human should have been eviscerated instantly. Instead, Alex and the creature seemed to be communicating? As Alex floated there, hand in claw with the galaxy's most feared predator, he couldn't help but smile behind his helmet. This, he thought, was what it truly meant to be an explorer. To reach out into the unknown. To seek understanding where others saw only danger. The creature let out a low, rumbling sound, not a roar of aggression, but something almost like a purr. Alex laughed, the sound of pure joy echoing through his helmet. "Aria," he called over the comm, unable to keep the excitement from his voice, "prepare a new entry in the ship's log. I think we've just made first contact." As Alex began the delicate process of coaxing his new alien friend back to the Curiosity, he knew that nothing would ever be the same. He had set out to explore the galaxy, but he had found something far greater, a chance to bridge the gap between species, to turn a feared predator into an unlikely ally. The journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, misunderstandings, and dangers. But as Alex looked into the creature's eyes once more, he knew that together they could face anything the universe threw at them. The galaxy would never see humans, or this magnificent predator, the same way again. And it all started here, with one human's decision to reach out in friendship instead of fear. The Curiosity's airlock hissed open, and Alex stumbled inside, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. Behind him, taking up nearly the entire opening, loomed the massive form of the alien predator. "Aria, seal the airlock!" Alex called out, his voice shaky. "And, prepare the cargo bay. We're going to need a lot of space." The AI's voice crackled over the intercom, a note of disbelief in its usually calm tones. "Alex, are you certain about this course of action? The creature is highly dangerous and—" I know, Alex interrupted, removing his helmet. He turned to face the alien, which was now cautiously sniffing the air inside the ship. "But look at him. He's curious, not aggressive." The creature, which Alex had started mentally referring to as Shadow due to its dark coloration, slowly moved its massive head from side to side, taking in its new surroundings. Its purple eyes glowed softly in the ship's artificial light. As they made their way to the cargo bay, Alex couldn't help but marvel at Shadow's size. The alien had to duck and squeeze through doorways, its spine scraping against the ceiling. Yet, despite once in the cargo bay, Shadow stretched out to its full length. Alex estimated it to be at least 30 feet long from snout to tail. The creature's jet-black hide seemed to absorb the light around it, making it look like a piece of the night sky had come alive. "Okay, big guy," Alex said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Let's see if we can figure each other out." Over the next few days, Alex spent every waking moment with Shadow. He observed the creature's behaviors, tried to decipher its vocalizations, and attempted to establish some form of communication. It wasn't easy. More than once, Alex found himself backing away slowly as Shadow let out a bone-rattling roar or snapped its massive jaws in frustration. But each time, instead of attacking, the creature would eventually calm down and watch Alex with what seemed like curiosity. On the third day, Alex had a breakthrough. He had been trying to teach Shadow some basic hand signals with little success. Frustrated, he flopped down on the cargo bay floor, sighing heavily. To his surprise, Shadow mimicked the action, lying down on the floor with a thud that shook the entire ship. When Alex sat up startled, Shadow did the same. "Area, are you seeing this?" Alex asked, excitement creeping into his voice. "Affirmative," the AI responded. "The creature appears to be mimicking your actions. This suggests a high level of intelligence and an attempt at communication." Encouraged, Alex began to experiment. He raised his right hand, Shadow raised its right claw. He patted his head, Shadow gently tapped its own with a massive paw. Each successful mimicry sent a thrill of excitement through Alex. As the days passed, their communication grew more complex. Alex introduced simple objects, a ball, a cube, a cylinder, and taught Shadow to identify them through a series of gestures. To his amazement, the alien not only learned quickly but began to innovate, combining gestures to describe new objects or concepts. 1 week into their journey, Alex decided it was time to try something more ambitious. He brought a simple electronic tablet into the cargo bay, loaded with basic language learning software. "Okay, Shadow," he said, holding up the tablet. "Let's see if we can take this to the next level." To Alex's surprise and delight, Shadow took to the tablet with enthusiasm. Its claws, despite their size, were surprisingly dexterous, and within hours the alien was navigating through simple picture-based language exercises. As they worked together, Alex began to notice subtle changes in Shadow's behavior. The alien seemed more relaxed, its movements less predatory and more companionable. Sometimes, when Alex laughed at a particularly clever response from Shadow, the alien would make a rumbling sound that Alex swore was its own version of laughter. 2 weeks into their journey, Alex was awakened in the middle of the night by Aria's urgent voice. "Alex, there's a situation in the cargo bay. The creature is distressed." Heart racing, Alex rushed to the cargo bay. He found Shadow pacing back and forth, letting out low, mournful cries. As soon as the alien saw Alex, it rushed over, nearly knocking him off his feet. "Whoa, easy there, big guy," Alex said, steadying himself against Shadow's bulk. "What's wrong?" Shadow made a series of gestures, combining movements they had practiced over the past weeks. Alex's eyes widened as he interpreted the message. "Aria," he called out, I think Shadow is trying to tell us that its home is in danger." The AI's voice was skeptical. "Alex, while the creature has shown remarkable intelligence, it's a significant leap to assume it can communicate such complex—" But Alex wasn't listening. He was focused on Shadow, who was now using the tablet to pull up images of stars and planets. "You're trying to show me where you come from, aren't you?" Alex murmured. Shadow nodded, a human gesture it had picked up from Alex, and continued its frantic pointing at the star chart. Over the next few hours, with Aria's help, Alex and Shadow pieced together a shocking story. Shadow's home planet, located in a distant sector of the galaxy, was under threat from an aggressive alien species. These invaders were systematically destroying worlds, and Shadow's people, despite their fearsome reputation, were struggling to defend themselves. As the full picture emerged, Alex felt a mix of emotions wash over him. awe at the scope of the galaxy and its conflicts, fear at the thought of such a destructive force, and most surprisingly, a fierce protectiveness towards Shadow and its people. "We have to help," Alex said, his voice firm. "Aria, set a course for Shadow's home world." There was a pause before the AI responded. "Alex, I must advise against this course of action. We are a small exploration vessel, ill-equipped for interstellar conflict. The odds of success are—" "I don't care about the odds," Alex interrupted. He looked up at Shadow, seeing the worry and hope in those alien eyes. "We can't just stand by and do nothing. Besides, we might be able to call for help. There must be other species out there who would oppose this kind of destruction." Shadow, seeming to understand the gravity of the moment, placed one massive paw gently on Alex's shoulder. The gesture was clear, gratitude mixed with a solemn acknowledgement of the danger ahead. As the Curiosity changed course, heading towards an uncertain and perilous future, Alex couldn't help but marvel at how much had changed in just a few short weeks. He had set out to explore the galaxy, to make new discoveries. Instead, he had forged an unlikely friendship that now seemed poised to shape the fate of entire worlds. Looking up at Shadow, Alex managed a smile. "Well, big guy, looks like we're in this together now. Whatever happens, we'll face it as a team." Shadow rumbled in agreement, its purple eyes glowing with what Alex now recognized as affection and determination. As the Curiosity accelerated towards Shadow's home world, Alex felt a mix of fear and excitement. He knew the journey ahead would be dangerous, possibly even fatal, but he also knew that he was part of something incredible, a partnership that defied the expectations of the entire galaxy, human and predator, united against a common threat. It was, Alex thought, the stuff legends were made of, and their legend was just beginning. The Curiosity hurtled through space, its engines pushed to their limits. Inside the ship, an unlikely pair prepared for the challenges ahead. Alex, the human explorer, pored over star charts and tactical displays, while Shadow, the massive alien predator, watched intently, occasionally gesturing to add its own insights. "Aria, how long until we reach Shadow's homeworld?" Alex asked, his voice tense. The AI's calm voice filled the bridge. "At our current speed, we will arrive in the Nexus system in approximately 72 hours. Alex nodded, then turned to Shadow. "We're almost there, big guy. I just hope we're not too late." Shadow made a series of gestures, which Alex had learned to interpret over the past weeks. The message was clear, gratitude mixed with worry. As they neared the Nexus system, Aria's sensors began picking up distress signals and scattered communications. The picture they painted was grim. The invaders, whom Shadow's people called the Voidborn, had already begun their assault on the outer planets. "Alex," Aria's voice was urgent, "I'm detecting a massive energy signature approaching Shadow's home planet. Based on the data Shadow provided, I believe it's the Voidborn's main battleship." Alex's heart raced. They were outnumbered and outgunned. The Curiosity was an exploration vessel, not a warship. But they couldn't just stand by and watch a civilization fall. "Shadow," Alex said, turning to his alien friend, "I need you to tell me everything you know about the Voidborn. Any weaknesses, any vulnerabilities, anything we can use." Over the next few hours, Alex and Shadow worked tirelessly, combining Shadow's knowledge of the Voidborn with Alex's human creativity and Aria's analytical capabilities. Slowly, a plan began to take shape. As they entered the Nexus system, the true scale of the crisis became apparent. The space around Shadow's home planet was a chaotic battlefield. Massive ships, dwarfing the Curiosity, exchanged fire. The planet itself seemed to be surrounded by a swarm of smaller craft. "Aria, activate stealth systems," Alex commanded. "Let's see if we can slip through unnoticed." The Curiosity weaved through the battle, its advanced cloaking technology keeping it hidden from both sides. As they neared the planet's surface, Alex could see the devastation firsthand. Cities lay in ruins, forests burned, and the once beautiful landscape was scarred by the ravages of war. Shadow let out a low, mournful sound at the sight of its ravaged home. Alex placed a comforting hand on the alien's massive paw. "We'll make this right. he promised. Somehow, their first task was to make contact with the planet's defenders. Using a combination of Shadow's knowledge and Arya's translation algorithms, they managed to establish communication with the Planetary Defense Force. At first, the defenders were suspicious. The sight of their most feared predator working alongside an unknown alien species was almost too much to believe. But as Alex explained their plan, hope began to replace doubt. The plan was daring, perhaps even foolhardy. While the planet's defenders would engage the Voidborn fleet in a massive space battle, the Curiosity would attempt to infiltrate the Voidborn's main battleship. Their goal, to plant a virus in the ship's central computer, one that would hopefully spread to the entire Voidborn fleet. As they prepared for their mission, Alex couldn't help but marvel at the strange turns his life had taken. A few weeks ago, he had been a simple explorer, seeking out new life among the stars. Now, he was about to attempt a mission that could determine the fate of an entire civilization. "You ready for this, Shadow?" Alex asked, checking his spacesuit one last time. Shadow nodded, its purple eyes glowing with determination. The alien had been fitted with a specially designed suit, allowing it to accompany Alex on this crucial mission. As the Curiosity approached the massive Voidborn battleship, Alex felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. This was it. Everything they had worked for came down to this moment. "Arya," Alex said, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "Initiate docking sequence, and if we don't make it back, make sure our story gets told, okay?" "Understood, Alex," the AI replied, a hint of emotion in its synthetic voice. "Good luck to both of you." The airlock opened, and Alex and Shadow stepped into the belly of the beast. The interior of the Voidborn ship was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. Strange, pulsating organic material lined the walls, giving the impression that they were walking through the innards of some enormous creature. They moved silently through the ship's corridors, Shadow's natural stealth proving invaluable. When they encountered Voidborn patrols, the alien predator's fearsome abilities came into play, dispatching enemies before they could raise an alarm. As they neared the ship's central computer, their luck ran out. A group of Voidborn soldiers spotted them, and chaos erupted. Alex and Shadow found themselves in a desperate fight, outnumbered and trapped deep within enemy territory. In the heat of battle, Alex witnessed firsthand why Shadow's species was considered the galaxy's most lethal predator. The alien moved with incredible speed and grace, its powerful claws and teeth making short work of the Voidborn soldiers. But even Shadow's formidable abilities were being pushed to the limit. Just when it seemed they would be overwhelmed, Alex had an idea. He noticed that the organic walls of the ship seemed to react to the violence around them, pulsating more rapidly. "Shadow," he called out. "The ship. I think it's alive. Maybe we can use that." Understanding dawned in Shadow's eyes. The alien let out a deafening roar, one that seemed to resonate with the very structure of the ship. The walls trembled, and suddenly the Voidborn soldiers were thrown into disarray, as if the ship itself was rebelling against them. Taking advantage of the confusion, Alex and Shadow fought their way to the central computer. As Shadow held off the remaining Voidborn, Alex worked frantically to upload the virus. Come on," he muttered, watching the progress bar inch forward agonizingly slowly. Just as the upload completed, a massive tremor shook the ship. The virus was taking effect, causing systems throughout the vessel to malfunction. "Time to go," Alex shouted. He and Shadow raced back towards the Curiosity, the ship falling apart around them. They barely made it back to their ship, the airlock sealing behind them just as a massive explosion rocked the Voidborn battleship. As the Curiosity sped away, Alex and Shadow watched in awe as the virus spread through the Voidborn fleet. Ship after ship lost power, their weapons falling silent. The defenders of Shadow's world seized the opportunity, pressing their attack against the suddenly vulnerable invaders. Within hours, the tide of battle had turned. The Voidborn, their seemingly unstoppable invasion brought to a halt by the unlikeliest of alliances, began to ret. As cheers and celebrations erupted across the communication channels, Alex turned to Shadow. The alien's eyes shimmered with an emotion Alex had never seen before. Joy tinged with grateful disbelief. "We did it, big guy," Alex said, his voice hoarse with exhaustion and emotion. "We really did it." Shadow responded with a gentle nudge, a gesture that needed no translation. In that moment, despite their vast differences, human and predator understood each other perfectly. As the Curiosity made its way toward Shadow's home planet, Alex knew that their adventure was far from over. There would be rebuilding to be done, diplomatic bridges to be built. The galaxy would never be the same after this day. But looking at Shadow, seeing the mix of fierce pride and gentle companionship in those alien eyes, Alex knew one thing for certain. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, human and predator, united in a friendship that had saved a world and defied the expectations of an entire galaxy. The Curiosity touched down on the surface of Shadow's home world, kicking up a cloud of multicolored dust. As the airlock hissed open, Alex took his first breath of alien air. It was sweet and heavy, like nothing he had ever experienced before. Shadow stepped out first, its massive form casting a long shadow in the planet's twin suns. Alex followed, his eyes wide with wonder as he took in the alien landscape. Despite the recent battle, the world was breathtakingly beautiful. Towering crystal formations sparkled in the sunlight, while strange bioluminescent plants pulsed with otherworldly colors. But their arrival didn't go unnoticed. Within minutes, they were surrounded by a group of Shadow's people. Alex couldn't help but feel a twinge of fear. Each of these creatures was as large and imposing as Shadow, their purple eyes glowing with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. One of them stepped forward, clearly a leader of some sort. It made a series of growls and clicks that Alex couldn't understand. Shadow responded in kind, gesturing towards Alex as it communicated. After what seemed like an eternity, Shadow turned to Alex. Using the tablet they had used to communicate on the ship, Shadow typed out a message, "They want to know why a human fights for us." Alex took a deep breath. This was the moment of truth. He looked up at the gathered aliens, trying to project confidence despite feeling very small. "I fight for Shadow," he said, his voice steady, "and I fight for what's right. Your world was in danger and I couldn't stand by and do nothing. On my world, we have a saying, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. I chose to do something." As Shadow translated, Alex could see the aliens' expressions change. Suspicion gave way to curiosity, and then to something that looked almost like respect. The leader made another series of sounds, which Shadow quickly translated, "They say you have the heart of a warrior. They want to know more about humans, and why you're so far from your home." Over the next few hours, Alex found himself in the strangest diplomatic meeting of his life. Seated in a grand hall made of living crystal, he told the story of his journey, of humanity's quest to explore the stars, and of his unexpected friendship with Shadow. As he spoke, Alex could see the aliens becoming more engaged. They asked questions about Earth, about human technology, and about the possibility of an alliance between their species. "An alliance?" Alex asked, surprised. "I'm just an explorer. I don't have the authority to make that kind of agreement." Shadow translated the response. "They say you have already formed an alliance. Your actions have proven humanity's worth as a potential ally. They want to formalize it." Alex's mind raced. This was far beyond his original mission parameters, but he couldn't deny the potential benefits of such an alliance. Humanity gaining allies with one of the most powerful species in the galaxy could change everything. "I can't make any official agreements," Alex said carefully, "but I can promise to bring your proposal back to Earth. I believe my people would be very interested in forming a friendship with yours." The aliens seemed pleased with this response. The leader stepped forward, extending a massive clawed hand towards Alex. Understanding the gesture, Alex reached out and shook it, marveling at the surreal nature of the moment. But their newfound alliance was about to face its first test. Alarms suddenly blared throughout the crystal hall. One of the aliens rushed in, speaking rapidly to the leader. Shadow quickly translated for Alex, the Voidborn. "They're regrouping. A new fleet has been detected entering the system. The mood in the hall shifted instantly from celebration to grim determination. The leader turned to Alex, its purple eyes intense. "They're asking for your help," Shadow translated. "They want to know if you'll stand with them against this new threat." Alex didn't hesitate. "Tell them yes. We're in this together now." What followed was a flurry of activity unlike anything Alex had ever experienced. He found himself in a war room, surrounded by alien military leaders, helping to plan a defense strategy against the incoming Void-born fleet. Despite the language barrier, Alex was surprised at how well they worked together. The aliens' tactical knowledge combined with Alex's out-of-the-box human thinking led to strategies none of them would have considered alone. As they prepared for battle, Alex couldn't help but reflect on the strange turn his life had taken. He had set out to explore the stars, and now he was helping to defend an alien world against invasion. The plan they devised was daring. Using the Curiosity's advanced stealth technology, they would sneak a team of Shadow's people, along with Alex and Shadow, aboard the Void-born command ship. Meanwhile, the rest of the alien fleet would engage the Void-born in battle, keeping them distracted. As they made final preparations, the leader of Shadow's people approached Alex. Through Shadow's translation, it spoke, "You have shown great courage, human. Know that no matter what happens today, you and your people will always have a home among us." Alex felt a lump in his throat. "Thank you," he said. "It's been an honor to fight alongside you." As the Curiosity lifted off, cloaking device engaged, Alex felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. He looked at Shadow, seeing the same determination reflected in his friend's alien eyes. "Ready for this, big guy?" he asked. Shadow nodded, a gesture it had picked up from Alex. The meaning was clear: together, they could face anything. The battle that followed would be remembered in the annals of both human and alien history. The Curiosity, carrying its unlikely crew of a human, a group of lethal predators, and an AI, slipped past the Void-born defenses. Once aboard the enemy ship, they split into teams. Alex and Shadow made their way to the ship's power core, while the others headed for the bridge. As they fought their way through the ship's corridors, Alex was in awe of Shadow's people. Their reputation as the galaxy's most lethal predators was well earned. They moved with a fluid grace that belied their size, taking down Void-born soldiers with terrifying efficiency. But it wasn't just their combat prowess that impressed Alex. He saw how they protected each other, how they communicated silently in the heat of battle. These weren't mindless killers, but a highly intelligent social species. When they reached the power core, they found it heavily guarded. For a moment, Alex felt a flutter of doubt. How could they possibly overcome such odds? But then, Shadow placed a reassuring paw on his shoulder. The gesture needed no translation. "Together, we can do this." What followed was a battle that pushed both Alex and Shadow to their limits. Human ingenuity combined with alien strength as they fought their way to the core. Alex used his knowledge of technology to sabotage the ship's systems, while Shadow and its people provided fierce protection. Just as they were about to succeed, a group of Void-born elites cornered them. Alex found himself back-to-back with Shadow, facing down a seemingly insurmountable foe. But in that moment, something extraordinary happened. Alex felt a surge of something, a connection with Shadow that went beyond their existing friendship. Suddenly, he could anticipate Shadow's movements, and Shadow seemed to know exactly what Alex was thinking. Moving in perfect synchronization, human and alien predator turned the tide of battle. Their teamwork was flawless, each compensating for the other's weaknesses, amplifying their strengths. As the last Void-born fell, Alex and Shadow stood victorious. They shared a look of mutual respect and affection that transcended species. With the Void-born command ship disabled, the tide of the larger battle turned. The alien fleet, bolstered by the Curiosity's advanced weapons, pushed back the invaders. As the Void-born retreated, a cheer went up across all communication channels. The unlikely alliance had saved the day. Standing on the bridge of the captured Void-born ship, Alex looked out at the stars. He thought about the incredible journey that had brought him here, about the friendship that had defied all expectations. Shadow stood beside him, a silent but comforting presence. Together they had not only saved a world, but had opened up a new chapter in galactic history. Human and Predator, united in an alliance that would reshape the future of both their species. As they prepared to return to Shadow's home world, Alex knew that his adventure was far from over. There would be much to do. Diplomatic bridges to build, cultural exchanges to facilitate, and who knew what other threats lurking in the vast expanse of space. But looking at Shadow, seeing the mix of fierce loyalty and gentle companionship in those alien eyes, Alex knew one thing for certain. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. Their unlikely alliance had already changed the galaxy. Who knew what other impossible things they might achieve? The twin suns of Shadow's home world cast a warm glow over the Grand Plaza. Beings from across the galaxy had gathered here, their diverse forms a testament to the unprecedented nature of this event. At the center of it all stood Alex, the human explorer, and Shadow, the once feared predator, now heroes to many worlds. 1 year had passed since the great battle against the Voidborn. In that time, the unlikely alliance between humans and Shadow's people had flourished beyond anyone's wildest dreams. Today marked the official signing of the Galactic Concordat, a treaty that would unite dozens of species in mutual understanding and cooperation. Alex fidgeted nervously with his formal attire, a blend of human and alien fashion. He looked up at Shadow, who seemed equally uncomfortable in its ceremonial armor. "Ready for this, big guy?" Alex asked, a hint of anxiety in his voice. Shadow nodded, then used the advanced translator they had developed to respond. "As ready as I'll ever be, little one." The alien's deep voice rumbled through the device. They had come a long way from gesture-based communication and simple tablets. As they stepped onto the stage, a hush fell over the gathered crowd. Representatives from Earth stood side by side with delegates from Shadow's world and emissaries from a dozen other species. All eyes were on the unlikely pair at the center. Alex took a deep breath and began to speak, his words translated into multiple languages simultaneously. "A year ago, I set out on a journey of exploration. I never imagined it would lead me here, to this moment of galactic unity. My friendship with Shadow taught me that understanding can triumph over fear, that cooperation is stronger than conflict." Shadow then spoke, its powerful voice carrying across the plaza. "And I learned that appearances can be deceiving, that a small, soft creature from a distant world could possess more courage and compassion than any being I had ever known." As they recounted their journey, from their first tense encounter to their battles against the Voidborn and the alliances forged in the aftermath, Alex could see the impact their story was having. Species that had once been bitter enemies were now looking at each other with newfound respect and curiosity. The signing ceremony itself was a blur of formalities and historic moments. But for Alex, the most powerful part came after, as beings from across the galaxy approached them to share their own stories of unexpected friendships and shattered prejudices. A tiny insectoid creature approached, its translucent wings shimmering. Through a translator, it spoke to Shadow. "Your kind once hunted mine to near extinction. Yet here we stand as allies. If you can change, perhaps there is hope for us all." Shadow lowered its massive head to look the small being in the eye. "The past cannot be changed, but the future is ours to shape. I pledge that my people will make amends for our past actions.